Okay, so I'm going to continue a couple more slides. So the challenge of boxing for me was also a physical one. So I was actually strong enough to do boxing, but what I realized is that boxers need to have quite a bit of flexibility. And what ended up happening for me was during the first session of sparring and training for the first hour, I ended up getting some pretty major calf or toe cramps, foot cramps, and that was all due to calf muscles not being very flexible. So I realized that it is quite strenuous work that boxers have to go through in training, and not only is it cardio and strength conditioning, but it's also flexibility in order to do what they do. My social personal constraints of boxing was I never really wanted to do anything concerning hitting people in the face or being hit in the face. It was just more of for me to do that, I would feel like it would have to be more of a self-defense issue or someone challenging stepkids or any kids, anything like that. So for me personally, maybe in the future I'd feel differently, but what I ended up doing boxing for was more for physical fitness than for the actual sport and competition of it. So that's me in the teal. I'm a little out of shape, as you can see. So I ended up doing boxing for fitness. I went to a boxing gym in San Leandro, and that's next to Oakland. I thought it was pretty fantastic, actually. I got to meet a young man who told me his personal story. He said that boxing gym kept him out of trouble, and he ended up making family there and friends there that he ended up being very close to. And as he was there helping me to learn the ropes and how to do the hand binding and glove up and all that stuff, a lot of young people came up, said hi to him, were chatting with him, laughing with him. He was laughing back, and I could tell he was a community leader, and it was just really fantastic to see someone who's probably about 17 or 18 leading these young kids into doing something really great and constructive. So unfortunately I didn't stay there because the cost of the gym for me right now is a little too much, so I ended up finding a gym on campus that I could take the classes for the quarter for like $13, which is really nice and affordable as a student. So this right here is my boxing class. The lady on the left is my teacher, and all the other folks are also students at CSU East Bay. And so boxing as recreation is a pretty great thing. So this activity did challenge me physically. When I was participating, I felt pretty good about it. I felt a little awkward because I am out of shape, but it wasn't a big thing because there's different people, different levels of fitness in the class. I think the thing that made me feel the most awkward is just being like the only left-handed person. And then in this class I was lucky because there were two of us that were left-handed, but as you can see I am like a giant. I am towering over this other girl, and she's trying her best to find find where I'm going to be throwing a punch, and I did the same for her, but we ended up with either put the mitts too low or too high, so it was okay though. So I think for insights about the female and male gender for this activity, I think for either gender it's tough and it's challenging. I think for both genders to be participating in this type of activity, I think it's pretty fun actually to have it mixed. I will probably continue participating in this activity again because it was great fitness, it was fun. I have this class after my calculus class, which I get kind of upset with myself for not doing that class earlier when I was in high school, so it's kind of a nice way for me to blow off steam and stress afterwards and not be thinking about my grades or how well I did on quiz, which we always have the same day we have these activities. So anyways, that's about it as far as my personal experience. I felt okay too because I wasn't the most wounded in the class, even though I'm pretty sure I was the oldest student there. Maybe that's not true, but These days I do feel like one of the oldest students on the school campus here. So for references for learning, I'm leaving you with 3 YouTube tutorial videos, and it's a nice fellow. He teaches how to throw a punch, how to take a punch, and how to defend yourself. And other great resources would be just go on Google, search, type in whatever you want to find, and I'm sure you'll find it. I would suggest looking more at the history of boxing because it is incredibly fascinating, and I don't do anybody any justice. I go over this material so fast. So hope you enjoyed the presentation. Here I'm going to go over my references. There were a lot of them, so I'm going to take a moment. This is the first 10. I really enjoyed all the references I looked over, and I really appreciate people taking so much time to put this information on the internet. Second page of references is right here. I went through a lot of references, and that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.